The Railgun is now out in GTA Online, but this might be a problem. This new weapon might be the go-to griefer tool in 2023. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at everything regarding this new weapon. How many bullets or explosions does it take to blow up certain vehicles? What actually are the limits of this new weapon? As well as one major thing you're going to have to be pretty aware of going forward because of this new weapon in GTA Online. So let's go ahead and hop right in. Now, I made the video yesterday on how you can get it. It's actually only available in the newest feature, the gun van, which does move around each day in GTA Online. I believe today it is up near Fort Zancudo on the beach north of it. So if you go up there, you'll see the gun van on your minimap. You have to purchase it. It is a $657,000 purchase, so it's pretty expensive for a weapon. Is it worth it? I think 100% yes. We'll get into the benefits, but it is definitely one of the best weapons now in the game. And that's probably why it might be a griefer tool that a lot of griefers end up using. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is how many bullets does it take to explode various vehicles. We'll start with a regular vehicle just off the street, and shockingly, it just takes one. Yeah, you can see one, it explodes. This also does apply to NPC vehicles like police cars. You can see in this little clip, the police cars will go down in one shot. The police helicopters will also go down in one shot if you hit them. I think the first one ended up missing, but it will kill other NPC vehicles in one shot. So it's pretty good for like PvE situations. As far as various air vehicles, player-owned air vehicles, we have the Akula here, one shot to kill. And this is with someone actually inside, as you can see. We also have the Hydra here, one shot to kill. We also have, I think this is the Hunter, another attack helicopter. And these are all fully upgraded with whatever armor I believe they have, one shot to kill. We also have the CEO Buzzard. And you guessed it, one shot to kill. As you're seeing, this new weapon is kind of crazy as far as the speed and the damage it can produce. Now, against an Oppressor Mark II, it's a one-shot kill. They're a little bit harder to hit, though, if they are flying around, because you're going to have to hit them. They're a smaller target, but one shot does take out an Oppressor Mark II. Now, where we start getting into some of the other vehicles, I didn't test it against every single armored vehicle in the game, but just a couple of the ones that I think many people use. Here we have the Toreador. This one, it just takes 4. So I believe that's the same as like the amount of RPGs it can take. So the Toreador is still a pretty good weapon, or a pretty good vehicle to drive in GTA Online. Here we actually have the Insurgent, which I wanted to test the Night Shark, but apparently neither of my characters own a Night Shark. So we're testing it here with the Insurgent. Maybe the Night Shark is a little bit better, but the Insurgent here, and it is going to be a little bit sped up, it's 17 of the bullets to kill the Insurgent, to blow it up. So realistically, this Railgun isn't that great against armored vehicles like the Insurgent here, and like any of the other armored vehicles. You're not going to really be griefed too hard with this unless you're just sitting still, because of course the player shooting the Railgun has to be on foot, so you can easily get away from them. Now, the one that really surprised me is the new Tech vehicles. I tested it here with the 300R. You can see I put armor to 100 as well as the armor plating on. And take a look at this. So this car, I didn't realize this was the strength of these Tech armor plates, but it takes 9 of these Railgun bullets, the Railgun explosions, before it does end up blowing up. So the new Tech vehicles, any of them with the armor plating, they're definitely going to be very useful driving around in free roam if people are trying to grief with the Railgun. And then I believe the last vehicle I wanted to test was one of the tanks, the Kanjali tank. It's funny, this is a tank and it takes 9 as well before it does blow up. So it's the same as the Tech car we just saw, but it's a tank. You would think the tank would be one of the most armored up vehicles in the game, but it's not, because it does take 9 as well. So as far as vehicles go, armored vehicles on the ground, you're pretty safe against the Railgun, but those helicopters, those air vehicles, that is really where you're going to struggle against the Railgun. And that's the one major thing I wanted people to know about. If someone is griefing in your lobby with a Railgun, it might be pretty impossible to fly at least low with a helicopter or with a jet. I don't believe any of the planes actually have like heavy armor, so all of them will be vulnerable to this railgun with just one shot. Now, there are some drawbacks to the railgun, which we'll get to, but yeah, if you are flying in a free roam session and someone has a railgun, you might want to stay pretty high up because the railgun can take you out very easily. Now, as far as how this railgun does against other people, it's pretty balanced, I would say. You can see here, I shot the ground next to the character. It doesn't actually kill him. It brings him to 1 HP. It doesn't straight up kill him. This could depend on your level and how much health your character does have. My characters here are pretty high level, so they have the maximum amount of health. I think if you're a lower level player, it might one hit. But at least if you are a higher level player, you have to be directly hit by the railgun before you die, because you can see same character here, direct hit to the body does one shot. So at least the players that are going to be trying to grief with this railgun, they have to be pretty accurate to kill you if you are on foot. And that also does apply to NPCs. You can see in this clip, the cops, they don't actually die unless you direct hit. If you just shoot the ground next to them, it's not like an RPG or any of the other explosions where there's like a big radius. The radius on this railgun is fairly small. So this is going to be mainly used against other vehicles and not other players. The one drawback to this new weapon is actually the range. So there is a limit. I believe it's 500 meters. It's hard to really show that. You can kind of see it in this clip. There is a person down there. You'll see when the reticle turns red, that's when we're actually at 500 meters. When we back up, I believe we're at like 501 or 502. So the reticle turns white because you no longer can kill that person. Now, unlike a sniper, you don't really have a good scope on this weapon. So it is very difficult to shoot people from long range. Also, when I do shoot and make contact, it didn't kill my other character in one shot. It did require a second shot to take him out. The health did drop, so it connected. I think I zoom in with a sniper at one point to see that, but maybe that means there's like a slight drop off of damage over the distance. I don't think that necessarily matters because you're not really using this to snipe people, at least other players. Now that 500 meter distance does affect other vehicles, and unfortunately I didn't get any footage of it, but that's why I mentioned flying higher if you're in a helicopter or a plane, because there is a limit to this distance. I believe the heavy sniper, on the other hand, is like 1500 meters. So the heavy sniper is still pretty good if you have explosive rounds on it for super long range distances. Plus you have the scope, of course, to zoom in. This railgun does have that 500 meter limit and there is no scope. So it is definitely a lot harder to hit longer distance targets. One of the things on console, and I'm doing this all on PC, so I can't really show it, but there is no auto aim on console with this new weapon. So if someone is on console, they have to be pretty accurate just free aiming this thing around. On PC, it's a lot easier to do that because you have a mouse and a keyboard. It's a lot easier to control with the mouse and keyboard. So maybe on PC, this thing might be pretty deadly, but on consoles, it might not be too bad. Now, as far as some of the other stuff I wanted to mention, actually, we'll just talk about the whole griefing aspect of it. This could be a griefing tool, but I also think it could be an anti-griefing tool. Maybe that's why I think it's so good. If someone is in your lobby and they're, you know, in a jet or some sort of helicopter griefing you, going up and down, you can take them out pretty easily with this railgun. Unlike the heavy explosive sniper, I believe that takes like 3 shots to blow up certain aircraft. This one, like we demonstrated earlier, only takes 1. Now, there is something I forgot to mention. There is a travel time on the bullet, and you can kind of see in this clip when I'm just shooting at random cars, you have to lead your target by a certain amount depending on how far they are away. So it's not complete hit scan. It's not you aim at someone and if they're moving, you know, when they're in your target, you shoot, they're not going to get hit. You have to lead your target. So if they are flying around, you're going to have to, you know, use some sense to aim and predict where they're going. Same in a vehicle. That's going to be something you're going to have to use this weapon a lot to get a feel for. But that maybe is another way of balancing. It's of course not as slow as like the RPG or the homing launcher, but it isn't as instant as the heavy sniper. And speaking of that heavy sniper, that's going to be the other weapon I think that a lot of people compare this railgun to. Yes, this railgun does cost a lot more than heavy sniper, but it has some pretty significant benefits. Number one, you don't need the gun running bunker. So if you're a lower level player, if you just don't have that business, you don't have to go buy that business and go through the whole process of unlocking the explosive rounds for that heavy sniper Mark II. Also, the heavy sniper Mark II, you can't buy the bullets through the interaction menu. You always have to go back to a weapon workshop, where this new weapon here, the railgun, you can just go to your interaction menu, go to the ammo, purchase all, and then you have a full ammo. So it's much easier to buy ammo and to resupply, which also might apply to missions. So this definitely might be a new weapon to use in missions if you can just buy ammo straight through the menu. And as far as damage, I believe, I didn't mention it earlier, but I do believe that the explosive damage is the same as other explosives like RPGs, sticky bombs and all that. It just doesn't have the big radius. So yeah, overall, I think this railgun, it's a great weapon. It's definitely very, very useful, but it could be useful for griefers, but then it could be useful for anti-griefers. So be on the lookout. It's definitely something you're going to have to be aware of in GTA Online. Like I said, maybe flying low in helicopters in a public session, that just is done for. Because if someone sees you flying, you're a pretty easy target to take out the sky with this new weapon. So I guess, yeah, that's the big thing you should maybe take away from this. Also, maybe just drive Tech vehicles, because those take 9 explosives to blow up. Maybe Rockstar put this weapon in the game to force people to buy the Tech weapon or the vehicles. But either way, I think it's a great weapon. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about it? Hopefully this video explained a lot more about this new weapon. I definitely think it's worth it. 600K is a lot. I think you can get that back fairly quickly, and I don't think many people will regret purchasing this weapon. But that's going to do it for today's GTA video. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop it a like, subscribe for more GTA content. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.